Good morning and welcome back to the 101. I'm Crisha House and today we have Michael Morris with me. We are, what are we?
We are the show for small business and entrepreneurs. That's what the show is all about. So it's going to be a combination of us bringing you people that are small businesses or entrepreneurs or people that have a concept and they want to talk about it. That's what we're here for. We want to flush those things out. Also, for those people that are on the fence about getting started, we want to give you as much a piece of the pie, I guess, so you can get started. We want to push people to do the things that we're doing in small business.
So today we're talking about?
Today we're going to talk about goals and vision for people that are just starting out. And this also applies to people that currently have a small business, but I think we should talk about why this topic came up. From a 3-hour phone conversation over one day.
I would never talk on the phone for 3 hours.
Not consecutively,
Never.
But you talk for an hour, then call me back and say, hey, I thought of this. So I said, stop telling me this right now.
I have to get it out or else I forget.
Right. But it was one of those things where I said, we're going to do 3 weeks worth of shows right here on the phone. So let's save some of it because it was really good stuff. So why don't we kind of get into how that conversation started? And I think we should also say we are both entrepreneurs. If you haven't listened to the show before, we both have small businesses and work with other small businesses. That's kind of how the show evolved.
Right.
But I think we should talk about how we got into the conversation on the phone the other day.
You're going to have to jog my memory on the phone conversation because I talk and don't always retain everything that I say.
You're kidding me.
No.
I haven't noticed that. So part of the conversation started where you had called me about a small business that hadn't heard the show yet. They saw it on Facebook. We posted that we were doing this show and we got a great response and the small business contacted you.
Oh, that conversation.
Yeah. That one. Let's do that one.
We have so many. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
It was last week was our first show and it was a nerve-wracking, jitters. If anyone listened to the show could probably hear it in my voice, very much so out of my comfort zone. But I already had a small business that reached out to me saying, we love the concept. We love what you're doing. I would love to share our story on your radio show. So that will be something I set up and we'll have them on in the future.
But also I think the part of the conversation was you started to have ideas what their business could do without really going in depth about it. You're like, why can't they do this and this and this? So you were already thinking of how to advance where they're at now before we even had them on to interview them.
Oh, right.
So it was kind of like a Kickstarter in terms of like ideas that we could do for other people. And again, that's what this show is about. We want to be able to answer people's questions and get them, even send them links to things that are resources.
Well, it's hard when when you want to become an entrepreneur, even if you own a small business already and you are an entrepreneur, it's tough. You question, where do I go? What can I do? I don't really know how to market myself. I don't know how to put myself on social media so people see me. I don't know, there's just a lot of unknowns. And that's what this show was prompted by us talking and thinking of, wow, there's all these great things that we can help people with. So how do we do that? And here's the 101.
Well, so getting into that, part of our conversation, our 3-hour journey, was we talked about... You're never going to let me
live that down, are you?
Well, that's like a weekly affair. But part of this was we talked about, I go on my rants about people having goals and having a vision. And when I say... People say goal and vision, and it's so 30,000 foot view. What I mean by that is your goal is, if your goal is just to make money, get a job.
Correct.
Okay. The vision is what can you create? What is it you want to do? For instance, the coffee shop that we talk about. The thing that started me on my screed was this person doesn't even really have a love for anything other than going to a coffee shop. However, they're taking the step to open it, right?
Right.
So what do? They find someone who's an expert that doesn't want to run a business, but wants to make the product. So you partnered with somebody. Your goal was, I want to do this, but what's the next step? So now it's open. You see what I mean? You have to flush out what you want the end goal to be. And if it's just money, you're going to get nowhere.
Right. You'll fail.
And we talked about this a lot of times. People want to work with me that in my business, and they'll say, for $100,000, I'll come and I'll do this and this and this, because they want to be part of the wheel. Why do I want to pay someone $100,000 to do something I'm already doing? What I want is someone to come to me and say, my goal in 3 years is to make $300,000 as part of your company. And here's why. Here's what I want to do. Well, here's what I want to create. That's what I want to see. Because if you have $100,000 in your mind, you will get $100,000 worth of work and no more. I want somebody that says, I want to be a millionaire. Or like Rach tells us all the time, and she'll be on here at some point, she wants to drive a BMW or a Mercedes, right? If that's her end goal and she gets it, you're going to be very disappointed if that's the last thing you get. However, if you want to live in a $500,000 house and have 2 Mercedes, that's a little bit bigger of a goal of a dream, right?
Correct.
But anyway, that was what we were talking about, and I kind of wanted you to kind of jump in, and we talked about it, and then you went off because you got excited about it, about the goals and visions of a small business entrepreneur.
Well, I run a small family business that is seasonal, but I also have started or am starting a brand new business, The Bag of Life.
Right.
We touched on this a little bit last week. And it's, I think I said it's a heartbeat song. It's something that evolved out of a simple gift or me doing something kind for somebody. And like you, my wheels just start spinning and turning. And what can this be? And the goals started to form. It took me a while to know that it's something that I wanted to do. I didn't think it was possible. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. Any job that I've had, I worked in a daycare center. I don't want to teach preschool. I want to open my own childcare center. I worked at a mortgage company. I don't agree with certain things. Guess what I did? I opened my own mortgage company. So I'm always thinking bigger and better. And goals, you have to have them. Agree?
I agree, but here's what I want to get into with The Bag of Life, because when we talked, you had prototypes of what you want. So nobody saw them other than maybe your family or a couple of friends.
Right.
But you showed me what was as close to a finished product as there was.
Correct.
So, but how long did it take you to get to that?
It was a 2-year process.
For 2 years, you went from concept to design to the point where you could hand me one. And my reaction, and this is not a product, I'm not going to say men wouldn't buy this. It is a thing where I hadn't seen it before. And the touch and feel of this thing, like I didn't put it down. You didn't
put it down.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't even think to open it to see what was in it.
Right.
I just liked the touch of it. You had a completed product and you didn't know that you were there yet, right?
Right. And to me, that was a product I was comfortable getting in front of people and showing people. But in my mind, that was not my end product.
Right.
How can I approve it? What can I do? So I'm constantly thinking of that next step.
Right. Now, it's out to market now. We can actually get it out there. And
soon.
Right.
Yes.
But the point being, it took you 2 years. I think a lot of people think, how do I quit my job on a Friday, be an entrepreneur on a Monday, and now I'm making money? And that's not going to happen. Right?
Safely. No, that won't happen.
No.
Right.
But you have to have the passion and drive behind it to say, no matter what, I'm not going to stop this process.
It's taking steps forward. I mean, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I work a full-time job, I run another small business. So my time is very limited. So I had to schedule out certain sections that I would work on this. And honestly, I had to pull back. I had to pull back and not work on it because I was so passionate and so excited to learn and figure things out. I had to make myself not work on it to be focused on, my job, my family, other things. So when you find a passion for something, it's not work. It just comes easy. But it was a process trying to figure it all out on my own. So,
well, here's what I want to do, because we're up against a break. When we come back, I want to dovetail into something you just said. But for right now, you're listening to the 101. We'll be back right after this.
I As a mom, I'm always looking for quick and easy solutions to those everyday problems. You know, like how do I get my kids to stop fighting? The ever popular sound of "I'm bored," and then there's keeping them occupied in the car.
Introducing the Bag O' Life, pre-made solutions for life's moments. There's the get-along bag, the boredom bag, the travel bag, and more. These bags bring everyone together and inspire fun. To learn more or to order, go to life.com. A bag for life's moments, a memory maker.
A careless driver can cause a crash that only lasts a few seconds, but can change your family's life forever. Insurance companies may attempt to minimize and delay your money. If you or a loved one has suffered a serious injury from a crash, get Scott Smith. The Smith Law Firm has been getting justice for more than 33 years. Let Scott Smith help get your life back. Call 888-311-LAWS. That's 888-311-LAWS, or contact us online at sestriallaw.com. Get Scott Smith. Get justice.
If your business is aiming for the stars but is stuck in the fog, call Mr. Biz at Wentworth Financial Partners. If profits are what you prefer, call Mr. Biz. If cash flow is a concern, call Mr. Biz. If growth is your goal, you guessed it, call Mr. Biz. We are so confident in our results-oriented approach, we'll even guarantee it. Visit WentworthFinancialPartners.com to learn more about our guaranteed CFO services, or call us at 614-962-7CFO. That's WentworthFinancialPartners.com.
Welcome back to the 101, and we were just talking about goals.
Yes. Now here's a statistic that we didn't make this up. Okay, I actually did some research.
That's good to know.
This is the number that I actually thought this was extremely low, but only 10% of people write down their actual goals, so that they have to follow this, right? So if you take that 10%, 3 to 10% of the people that control the wealth in the country, that are not just entrepreneurs, but they're heads of businesses, they have to make these goals all the time. So here's what I want to know from you as an entrepreneur. When you started the bag, did you write this stuff down first?
No, I didn't.
Right.
And it was kind of like a fish out of water. I was flopping, all over the land.
Because you had no direction.
Right, no direction. I'd bounce from, what do I want the bags to be? Okay, what's going to go inside of it? I was all over the place rather than focusing on one piece, getting that done, moving on to the next one. So
but at what point did you change that? I mean, you had to change it at some point, because I know by the time that you and I started discussing how to get this out to the public, you had defined goal. You used actually that Trello. I think I'm saying it right. No, Trello.
Yeah, I
right?
think so.
And it had those dashboards where you could put in all your goals and completed by, which was kind of a cool thing. But then we kind of like dumped that for a while.
I'm
because
a pen and paper kind of
well,
person.
so am I.
I try to do the online stuff, but
But here's what I would like to say. If people that are listening to this, there are programs out there that, whether they're on your phone, whether they're on your laptop, your iPad, there are things out there. Document what you're doing for two reasons. One, it keeps you on track. But two, you get to go back and look at what you did. Like, it's kind of like a grocery list. If I'm going through it, if I left there and I didn't check off everything there, I know there's more to do, right? So I didn't complete that task. No matter what, it comes down to as simple as you can make this stuff. If you're making a list, and I almost said checking it twice. I didn't mean that.
Checking it twice.
If you're making that list, you're holding yourself accountable, because as an entrepreneur, no one else is going to do that. There's no one to save you if you're an entrepreneur.
Right. Everything with the bag, I did it myself. Kind of a control freak like that, a little bit.
Oh, kind of.
But, goal setting, it can be as simple or as difficult, as in depth as you want to make it. Like you said, grab a pad of paper, a pen, and just write down. What do you want? The to-do list goal setting that I use, you talked about thinking big. I don't want just a BMW or a Mercedes. I want 10, and I want a house, and I want to own an island, and, the list goes on. So what I did, I read a lot. So I read a book by Chalene Johnson. It was Push Goal, and it resonated with me. So your push goal is the big goal that you want to achieve for that year. And mine was to have my final prototype set. So I set my big goal, and then daily, I'd have daily, weekly, monthly. I would do my goals. So, okay, to reach my monthly goal, I need to do this weekly. To do my daily goal or my weekly goal, I have to do this daily. So I was constantly writing my goals down and shuffling them around into different categories, but that kept me on track and focused and moving in the right direction, and I completed it.
Well, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
So your goals, those were generated by having an overall vision, because you said, I don't want one car, I want an island, I want all that, right?
Right.
You have an end vision. Your end vision, it might modify itself a little bit, but overall, that's where you want to get. So if you have a vision of this is what I want this to culminate into,
Right.
your goals will either get accomplished or modified or changed. But at the end of this, you're still going towards that destination.
Right. What you want. I used material items just to make a point. That isn't and has never been my end vision. I mean, my end vision is I want every person alive to have one of these bags in their hand. That's my goal.
When you say that to people, do you get any blowback where people are like, "Oh, no, never"?
Some men.
How's it? Okay. How?
We already
wait,
touched on that. It's
we didn't touch on it here.
okay.
Don't forget, they're not listening to our phone conversations.
Really?
Only the government is listening to our phone conversations. But what I would say is, your goal was you wanted everyone to have one, right?
right.
So when we did a brainstorming, which is another thing that everyone should do, get your friends, your family. Don't find the people that are going to say you're the best person in the world, that don't give you negative feedback, because that doesn't get you anywhere.
Right. All of your family, your close friends, most of them will tell you, it's wonderful.
Oh,
Go
'cause they
do
love
it.
you.
Rah, rah.
They
They're
wanna
your
see you do something
cheerleader.
great.
Of course they do. But like you said, you can't fix something if it's not broken.
Right.
So you set up for me this brainstorming group.
Let's not say where it was. Let's just let people assume.
Okay. It was amazing. I mean, you had a collective group of people who didn't know me from Adam. They didn't know of the product.
And we didn't tell,
You know.
that was the other thing. We didn't tell them. We wanted them to see, touch, and feel it
Right.
without knowing what it was. And they kept asking and asking. And I said, just get a bunch of people's tales into this room, and then we'll just dump them out.
And when they saw it, they were like, oh, I get it.
Which
like,
was
I get it now.
Let me say, as I've told you, it was incredibly frustrating because I didn't get any negatives out of it.
That's
like,
true. I enjoyed that part. I know you didn't, but
Well, just because the way I look at things is I need to see what doesn't work. That's when I get excited. The thing that doesn't work, because when you change that little thing, you change the whole process.
mm-hmm.
If everyone, organically goes, I love this. We had people trying to buy them in the room, and they were just a prototype.
That we did. One's like, if I put this under the table, will you forget about it? Maybe I can just sneak this in my pocket.
What was the thing that was said? I want to say it was Mike that was in the room. He said, I'd like to call this like the bag of love. Like on Valentine's Day, I can just grab this thing and, give it to somebody.
Right.
But there were things that came out of it where, again, we were able to flush this product out more and more. And we're just trying to give you a real world example of the reason I like this example is because when I first saw this product, we'd had a conversation on the phone about it. You'd showed me some pictures. That doesn't get it done. It is when someone can feel it and look at it and mess with it. Whatever your product is, whether it's coffee, the bag, whatever, when people can interact with it and the way they feel about your product.
You have to get it out there.
Right. And
Have
it's
to.
what I'm looking for is the negative emotion towards it, or whatever, because that still works. If somebody goes, I don't like your coffee, blah, 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 but I like your atmosphere, I can still make you feel that you want to come there. I know I go someplace all the time that the food is, it's abhorrent, but I go there because my daughter loves it. So I will go there because I want to see the smile on her face. And every time I give them the money, I'm like, this was a pleasant experience.
Not worth it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go and eat out of like a taco truck or something after this. But that's the thing about your vision is you knew where you wanted to go from there. And
Right.
that's what I want people to understand is your goals have to be listed in order to get you to a destination.
Definitely. Think about it. I write everything down is the only suggestion that I can really give. I have so many notebooks and pieces of paper floating around because if I had an idea, with the bag, I want to support social interaction. It's such a techie world these days. I didn't grow up with a phone or device in my hand, and I feel like the interaction between people, it's just lacking. So that was one of my goals with this bag, is to create something that would stimulate or promote that. So
before you get going, because we're up against a break again, we're going to come back and I want to ask you, as a serial entrepreneur, something that you can impart to people that are listening. So for right now, we're going to go to break, but we'll be right back.
Mark, it's our 40th year at Greenscapes. How do we get the word out about the premier design-build landscapes that Greenscapes creates?
The radio?
Radio? How can people see our premier landscapes that you design on radio?
Our 24-hour showroom is available at greenscapes.net, where people can see what we create every day.
Greenscapes.net. Hey, great idea, Mark.
Greenscapes.net displays all of our projects and also gives you timely garden tips.
Mark, as Central Ohio's premier landscape company, I think Greenscapes is going to have a fabulous 40th year.
Hi, this is Marty Reed, and I'm the owner of Frog Hauling. We are Columbus's only green residential mini dumpster service. If you want to clean your garage, you want to clean your basement, or maybe clean your yard, give Frog Hauling a call, 258-3764. At Frog Haul, we also service contractors, and if only the best product will do for your customer, give Frog Hauling a call. Visit us at froghauling.com or call us at 614-258-3764.
As a mom, I'm always looking for quick and easy solutions to those everyday problems. Like how do I get my kids to stop fighting? The ever popular sound of "I'm bored," and then there's keeping them occupied in the car.
Introducing the Bag O' Life, pre-made solutions for life's moments. There's the get-along bag, the boredom bag, the travel bag, and more. These bags bring everyone together and inspire fun. To learn more or to order, go to life.com. A bag for life's moments, a memory maker.
Welcome back to the 101. We wanted to get into something, one last piece, because we have about 6 minutes. Here's what I want to know from you as a female small business owner and entrepreneur. What is the key to all of this? We're talking about goals, we're talking about vision, but I think we're missing a key element that we talk about all the time. You tell me what we're missing.
the passion.
and the passion meaning?
I mean, I say heartbeat song a lot, but
You have to define what that means, because you said that last week, and I know what you mean. No,
I'm not gonna. There is a song, but the song, when I heard it, I'm like, this was, the heartbeat song by
Kelly Clarkson. We're being told by our producers, Kelly Clarkson. I've never heard it, but now I get it.
You've never heard it? I'll make sure you hear it.
Oh,
Anyways,
please.
I heard that song, and I think it's more so about relationships. But when I heard it, I applied it to my life and to this, and to my product. So it's the passion and the drive behind something. Really, it's the why. Why are you doing it? There has to be a why. If there's no why and it's not defined, you'll be like that fish out of water. You'll just flail all over the place. So for me, my why was I want to help people. I mean, that's from being a serial entrepreneur, going from one thing to the next thing. My heart was not always in it. It was more for the monetary value and not because I felt it, deep down inside. So this was something that I can't explain it. I just felt it. It's something I knew that I had to do. I wanted to get out there. I want to help people with their life situation. So that's my passion. It always has been. I mean, I drive you nuts, right? I mother him. It's like, what do you need? How can I help you? Don't argue with me. You need to listen to me. Let me help. That's just always been who I am as a person. So,
But I think that also goes to your vision. You cannot do this alone. There are no entrepreneurs. You could be your
you
concept.
can try. I tried.
Oh, well, I think we've all tried. But that's again why we're doing this show, is that there are people, when I first started this, and I can remember sitting in, cubicles with people, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. Those same people are either out of this industry that I'm in, or they're still sitting in that cubicle. But when I run into them, I'm going to do, next year I'm doing this. And they won't, because what they are afraid to do is to actually look inside and go, do I have the passion to do this? Will I take that phone call at 11 o'clock at night on a Thursday? Will I work on a Sunday? Will I put in the extra grind? And I got to say, when you hear grind, like, I get what that means, but it makes it sound a lot more intense. That's like a Mad Max term, like, we're digging holes. We're not digging holes.
There's no grind.
But it is a hustle. Like, if it's a grind to me is, I don't enjoy this.
It's
I'm doing this because
You're doing it because you love it and you want to do it.
Right.
Because you have to do it.
But hustle's such an overused term, because you have people that, I put in 6 hours today. And I'm like, that is a great half a day that you did. You know, and they're wiping sweat off their brow. And I'm like, you didn't do anything, because there's 86,400 seconds in a day. And every single day, getting up to be able to do what I'm doing, setting the pace and the freedom of doing anything. I don't know what my days are going to look like from one day to the next, but it's being able to be part of that and bring other people along. Like, a lot of times the growth of my company has been because of something you've done. You're not in my industry.
But my passion is contagious.
Right, but you're also helping
like your
somebody.
Passion is contagious.
Right. But I tend to, let me tell you how this is going to go. Like, I want to take over. And I think a lot of, yes.
You are not bossy at all.
I'm afraid to admit it here in
all.
a public forum, but yes. But I would say that part of this was being an entrepreneur. You think you have to be in charge all the time. That's what you want. You want to be in charge of it. Your vision is, I'm going to drag my whole team to this goal, right? If everybody's going the same direction, we're great. The issue is sometimes it's hard to let go and accept that someone else can help you get there, right? But if you add people that are like-minded, you can get there. Right. And that's why I thought, when we talked about doing this show months and months and months ago.
We didn't talk. I was kind of told you're doing this show.
As I told you we were doing this, it was because you provide a different perspective than I do. You're more open and you have more feelings about things.
Nice.
You're nice.
I'm nice.
Right? And to me, it was, I want people to hear your story and other people's story like you, because it's huge what you can do if you get just a little bit of a push, right? And that's what we want to do here. Can you tell people, because we are running out of time, but if someone wants to send us an email, call, whatever, how can they get a hold of us?
Go to the website. It's life.com. Go to the 101 tab. You can submit your comments, questions, anything that you want to tell us. It'll come directly to me, and we can make sure we find an answer for you.
Yeah, we'll answer them on the show.
Right.
Or you can reach us on Facebook, Instagram. You can look those up. They're all attached from the website. But the show is for people out there who are small business owners who want to get started. What we want is, tell me your struggle. We want to try to help you with that.
Well, we're running out of time, so we can touch on that next week. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you go to thebagoflife.com, give us your questions, and we'll try to touch base on them the next show. Thank you.
You've been listening to a Morris Media production.